Hey everyone, welcome back. My username is Zintress, you can call me Zin for short. We'll be talking about a very sensitive topic today, so if you're not comfortable with it, please keep swiping. We're going to be talking about symptoms of endometriosis. I have a bullet point list I'll be listing out, and then I'll be giving my own interpretation because everyone is different with endometriosis. Not everyone has the same symptoms or same experiences. So symptoms of endometriosis are pelvic pain, severe menstrual cramps, pain during intercourse, painful bowel movement or urination, heavy menstrual bleeding, fatigue, infertility, gastrointestinal issues, lower back pain, leg pain, pain during ovulation, bloated or distended abdomen, painful urination or blood in urine. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fatigue. That is so real for me because no matter how much sleep I got, whether it was 12 to 15 hours, I would still be waking up exhausted. And that was because your body is constantly fighting off inflammation, whether it's what you ate that day, whether it's your ovulation, whether you had intercourse, or it's random. That's things I experienced with fatigue. Another thing I noticed was heavy menstrual bleeding. A lot of people have told me heavy menstrual bleeding is normal. It's normal to have painful periods. It's normal to have pain when you're on your cycle, but it wasn't normal for me to be passing out on my cycle. It would be so bad to the point where I just couldn't go to classes functioning proper because of it, because there's so much bloating, swelling, inflammation going on, and it was pretty normal for me, it's pretty normal to have painful periods is what I was told. Another sign for me growing up ever since I was 16 was the fact that I had to go to the hospital many times for UTIs. Sometimes they would come back positive, sometimes they wouldn't. That was because of endometriosis, and sometimes the antibiotics would work and sometimes they wouldn't, but it really started around the time I was menstrual, around the time I was ovulating. It got more erratic when I started doing intercourse. But before we get on that topic, I do want to talk about the gastrointestinal issues. That was probably the first another symptom that I went to the doctor for the first time for was the fact that I was hurting a lot. I was swelling, a lot of pain going on, but I thought it was my stomach, so I went to this doctor because I was also having issues going to the restroom, having bowel movements, so they ended up finding out like a different thing that wasn't related, but my doctor recommended me going to a gynecologist. I had gone to a gynecologist before for birth control. I was not active sexually, but I wanted to, and I wanted to be smart, so I went to see a gyno for it. I got on birth control, and when I got on that, things started going downhill for me. And I went to a gynecologist because it got so bad to the point where I was having a constant UTI feeling. No matter how many times I went to the doctors, they were all telling me there was nothing there or the antibiotics weren't working, so I had to go to a third gynecologist because I also was experiencing pain with intercourse. That was probably the biggest red flag for me to finally get my doctors to listen, because intercourse was not painful in the beginning, but 2 years later I started experiencing painful intercourse, which led me to think about my fertility. So I went to a third gynecologist to get a third opinion, and this person finally listened to me because I just wasn't going to accept that this was anxiety, that I'm crazy, that I was in my head, because at this point I had something really wrong that was affecting my life, which was the sexual intercourse leading up, fertility. So I went to this person. They did a bunch of tests that I'll be discussing in another video. I'm really trying to stay focused on symptoms. But they helped me find a treatment for my symptoms, which then gave me so much relief. You wouldn't believe how much relief I got from these symptoms, which I'll be talking about in another video on the treatment I got. But those were my symptoms, was fatigue, definitely the bloating, definitely having issues going to the restroom. Sometimes I'd be in there so long, my legs would go numb, my back would start hurting, painful intercourses, heavy bleeding, passing out from having bleeding. And if your doctor is telling you that painful intercourse is normal, you need to switch doctors. That is the most toxic thing I could hear doctors say to me, is that that is normal. And a lot of doctors are not experienced with endometriosis, so sometimes they don't know what they're looking for, which is why I had to switch so many times, because sometimes they'll just say it's anxiety, or they will talk about your weight. Really, I want to say, when I said I was having painful intercourses, that is when my doctors really started accepting my symptoms, accepting the fact that there's something wrong with me. And I really want to share that with y'all, because for the longest time, people were telling me it was normal. It was normal, and it's not normal. And if they're telling you that, you need to switch doctors, because it's unacceptable that we live in a society where they just constantly normalize this, and it really needs to be listened and talked about and understood more. And I really appreciate your time and effort to get through this video with me. If you could please follow and give a like and share, that would mean so much to me. I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope this helped. See you later.